Hello, welcome to Dungeon Girls Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Today we're reviewing Tom Scioli's GoBots, the trade paperback. This series came out in, I think, 2019, or that's at least when this book came out. It's definitely not a reprint of some old series because that's just how Tom Scioli does his art style. Like, even, like, looking through the pages, there's, like, one page where, like, it's, like, the art is purposely made to look old, right? Like, in one of the pages, I even saw, like, a hair that I thought was mine, right? So this book, I think it's rated T for teen, I don't know. It should be rated M for M, because this is a very dark book. It costs, where does it say? 18 US, 24 Canadian. It's a 5-issue miniseries. Though it was a 5-issue miniseries, this is a pretty thick book, and it took me a while to read. I should mention, I did not grow up in the 80s, so I never got involved with the GoBots versus Transformers war. I actually watched, like, a parody of GoBots and Transformers where, like, the GoBots were like, actually, we came out a year before. You guys were not ripoffs at all. Which I have no idea if that's actually true, where they're not actually ripoffs. Before doing this review, I tried to watch some GoBots cartoons, but the only one I could find were the GoBots versus the Rock Lords movie. Which I watched like 20 minutes of it, and I couldn't finish it because I just got bored. Not that it was bad; it was just like I just got bored. And the Hanna-Barbera art style is not very good. Which for people who don't know what GoBots was actually an anime. Well, the characters from GoBots, at least the robots, were from an anime called Machine Robo, right? And which is kind of funny because there's like none of the main characters of this book are main characters in that anime. Like, they're all side characters, and like main characters like Drill and Jet, which are given new names. Like Drill is like Screwhead, and like Jet is I don't even think they gave him a name, right? And I think it was Fightor. I think it was Fightor, as in fighter jet, even though he doesn't look like a fighter jet. Which, if you don't know what the story for Machine Robo is, it's basically, imagine a planet where people that look like Mega Man, robot humanoids, lived alongside transforming robots, and they get invaded by evil giant robots, and these band of warriors, which is a mix of humanoid robots and transforming robots, go on a search through the planet to try to find the means to defeat the evil robots, which are there in the first place because they believe on this planet called Kronos, which that's the name of the planet, that there's the secret to eternal life. And the main character, Rom, has this sword called the Dragon Sword, which lets him combine with which lets him summon bigger robots that he can combine with, so he can take down the evil robots. It's actually a pretty decent show. Though, like, you can even watch it on YouTube, though the subs are very bad. Very, very bad. So the story for this comic book is basically, iRobot meets Terminator 2 Judgment Day, where first off, it's like humanity lives with the GoBots. They've created the GoBots were created by humans, right? Which in the TV show, I'm not sure if that's true. And you have different robots. You have like robots like Leader 1, which is a fighter jet who works with the military, has a pilot named Nick. You have other robots like GoBots like Scooter, who belongs to this little girl, right? And you even have this other robot uh, called Turbo, which that's Turbo there. Turbo's also on the cover here, fighting Psykill, who Psykill is an evil robot. He's like the Megatron of the GoBots universe, where he was in like an illegal fighting arena, fighting other GoBots, and eventually, after meeting Turbo, he gets the idea in his head to, like, you know, why should we fight for the humans' amusement? And Psykill with other GoBots start an uprising where they try to destroy humanity and enslave them. And there's some pretty cool epic fights in this here. Oh, there's Jet from Machine Robo. Right? Look at these like random covers. And then there's Drill, who's like the dumb one. But like in here, he's just like, you know, he's a noble kind of robot. After his partner dies, his human partner dies, he decides to join Psykill for a little while, and then like change sides, right? So I don't want to spoil too much because Basically, what happens is, like, yeah, Leader 1's pilot dies, and he forms an army of GoBots to take on Psykill, right? And after that, the book, that's like the halfway point. The book takes a drastic change. Oh man, the battery's low on my camera. I just charged it like yesterday. God damn it. Yeah. So like, what ends up happening is, yeah, I'll just spoil it. So basically, after like the confrontation with like Leader 1's side and the Psykill side, they basically, humanity gets basically not wiped out, but basically the GoBots take over, and like everything is messed up, man. Also, the Rock Lords have a cameo. There's the Rock Lords there, right? And the book gets really dark. Turbo and Scooter are still on the side of the on the side of the humans, but like, yeah, Leader 1 and Psykill are, like, you know, basically tyrannical dictators. It gets to the point where you don't even know who to root for until the very end. Where the very end, both the GoBots war finally ends, and these robots who look very much like the Transformers, that you have this robot who transforms into a truck, like a semi-truck like Optimus Prime, and you have this robot which is a Volkswagen. Man, some of the GoBots designs are really dumb, and they basically, it implies that there's also time travel, and it implies that the GoBots universe and the Transformers universe may be connected, and that the GoBots might have been the precursors to the Transformers. It gets really crazy, right? And yeah. So I'm not going to spoil any more of that. So my problems with the book, though I thought the book was great with the action and the suspense, like halfway through the book I couldn't put it down. But then after halfway through the book, it gets really dark, and there's even themes like grape in the book, and lots of torture of humans, by the way. And you even have like there's like a race of humans that are still around in the post-apocalypse that are basically Neanderthals, and they're naked, hairless apes, and like the evil GoBots capture them and torture them and make them combine for their amusement, if you know what I mean by combine, right? Yeah, there's even GoBot on GoBot implied grape, if you know what I mean. And like, yeah, I could just see somebody who is a GoBots fan reading this and just being mortified by the fact that they just took like a light fun series from the 80s and made it super dark and gory and ultra violent, which, you know, that stuff is great, but I think it's a little disturbing to do that to a very kiddie cartoon, like the GoBots, which I never had any GoBots as a kid, but like my nephew, I gave him like a GoBot, like toy for like it was like Fisher Price Transformers kind of toy. I don't even think it was really a GoBot, but it was basically they were making Transformers toys for like toddlers and calling them GoBots, and I bought him one. I can't remember what it was, but like, yeah, like I bought like a GoBot, a modern version of a GoBot, like years ago for my nephew, and then it's like, man, I wouldn't want him to like read this because this is super messed up. This should have like an M rating, to be honest. Even though there's no swearing and the nudity, they don't really show anything. Though you see a lot of naked humans, they don't really show anything. It's just super dark, and the themes are like really disturbing. And I wouldn't like, I could see like GoBot fans being pissed off at this book, but I thought it was really good. And though I kind of think they kind of shit on GoBot fans because of the ending, where like the ending implies that, you know, the Transformers basically solve all the GoBots' problems and like take over at the end, which is fucking bullshit. For like, I mean, GoBot fans are also Transformers fans, so I wouldn't see them like. They're probably used to being made fun of, but for like this book feels like a Transformers fan taking a GoBots book and like, you know, fucking like turning it upside down, like inverting it and shit, which makes for an entertaining book. But like I said, man, I could see GoBot fans going like, "What the fuck? You ruined my childhood, asshole! What the fuck is this?" But yeah, I thought the book was really enjoyable, and I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. But the art and the art in here is very, like, you know, kind of basic. It's like a step above like Jeffrey Brown's like Transformers parody, Incredible GoBots, which has even shittier art, but it's basically like a children's book art. And this is the scene where I'm talking about, where Psykill is making the naked humans combine, torturing them and making them combine. So yeah, it's a pretty dark book, but I would recommend it. Next, we're going to review Aquaman, the Waterbearer, which looks cool. Hopefully